With America still reeling from the double mass shootings over the weekend, President Trump today met with survivors and first responders in both cities still recovering from the tragedies, Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas. But before he left, the president answered questions about how he plans to deal with guns and the threat of white supremacy in the United States.
I think there's a great appetite to do something with regard to making sure that mentally unstable, seriously ill people aren't carrying guns.
Mr. President, how concerned are you about the rise in white supremacy, and what do you want to do about it?
I am concerned about the rise of any group of hate. I don't like it. Any group of hate. I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it.
Any other kind of supremacy? What other kind of supremacy is Trump concerned about? That's right, we're under threat from white supremacy and the born supremacy. Very confusing plot. So confusing. You know what I find interesting about Donald Trump? I don't think he's ever worn a T-shirt, but also, have you noticed how he seems to go out of his way not to single out white supremacists? He really goes out of his way. After Charlottesville, he was like, well, technically, everyone was being violent. It wasn't just them. And now he's saying he's against white supremacy and other supremacies, even though the FBI specifically warned Americans about white supremacy. He just doesn't want to single them out, which is not very comforting, you know? It's like if your girlfriend asks, baby, do you love me? And your response was, yeah, I love everyone. I love you. I love my mom. I love people. I love our mailman. It's not going to make you feel good. So from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like Trump is willing to take the lead in pushing for gun regulation or combating white supremacy, which is why the Democratic presidential candidates are using this opportunity to show that they can lead. So let's catch up on everything Dem-related in another installment of World War D. In the days following some of America's deadliest mass shootings, the Democrats have all come out saying why they think they would each be the best leader to stop gun violence. But even though they disagree on who it should be, the one thing they can all agree on is that there's one person who definitely shouldn't be in the White House.
It is very clear that this kind of hate is being legitimized from on high.
Donald Trump is responsible for this. He's responsible because he is stoking fears and hatred and bigotry.
He has based his entire political career on fanning the flames of bigotry and division and hate.
What he has got to understand is that when you have language that is racist, there are mentally unstable people in this country who see that as a sign to do terrible, terrible things.
We're living through a rare moment in this nation's history where our president has more in common with George Wallace than he does with George Washington.
Whoa, that's not fair. Donald Trump has lots in common with George Washington. They both had major beefs with the UK. They both buy their wigs from the same place. Washington chopped down a cherry tree. I'm pretty sure Trump also hates fruits. Lots of similarities. But beyond blaming Trump, the Democrats have released a series of proposals for how they would stop guns from getting into the hands of white supremacists or people who are just deranged. And many of their proposals are similar. You know, things like universal background checks, closing loopholes, and replacing bullets with little flags that say bang. But because he's the front runner, all eyes have been on Joe Biden. And it didn't get off to a great start because while people were still mocking Trump for consoling victims in Toledo instead of Dayton, Joe Biden came out and one-upped Trump by messing up both cities, offering his sympathies to Houston and Michigan. Yeah, I feel like at this rate, the debates are just going to end up with both men wandering out in their bathrobes, totally confused. Just be like, are you my grandson? I thought you were my grandson. Sir, this was about tax cuts. So, after that gaffe, Biden had to make amends, which is why he went a step further than just background checks, and in an interview with Anderson Cooper, proposed this.
Joe Biden has come out for a very large federal gun buyback program and an assault weapons ban.
To gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period.
Damn, Joe Biden. Whoa. That's a bold statement. Normally, Democrats, when they ask the question, they're like, oh, it's not a ban, and we're not going to come for the guns, and we're not going to ban it. But Biden's like, bingo, I'll see your ass at midnight. So the Democrats are coming after Trump. They're also planning to come after guns. And you can tell they're fired up about these issues because they are cussing like all the kids have gone to bed.
The Republicans need to, quite frankly, get their shit together and stop pandering to the NRA because people are getting killed.
Senator Cory Booker, quote, such a bullshit soup of ineffective words. This is so weak.
Mitch McConnell needs to get off his ass and do something. People are getting killed in the streets in America, and nobody's acting. Nobody.
Is there anything in your mind that the president can do now to make this any better?
What do you think? You know that he's been saying? He's been calling Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals. I don't know, like, members of the press, what the
Damn! Who are these Democrats? Huh? I hope these guys are raising a lot of campaign funds because they owe a lot of money to this wedge. I mean, we got the F-bombs, we got shits, asses, even a bullshit soup from Cory Booker. And by the way, Cory, there's already a name for bullshit soup. It's called gazpacho. Yeah, how are you gonna call yourself a soup if you're not even warm? That's the main soup thing. Gazpacho isn't a soup, it's a tomato smoothie. That's what it is. If you wanna eat tomatoes, fine, but you gotta chew like the rest of us. That soup is bullshit. Sorry, I digress. The point is, I can see why these Democrats are frustrated. I can see why they're cursing, because thanks to mass shootings, Americans are living in a state of terror. And lawmakers don't seem to want to get anything done. So clearly America is long overdue a serious conversation about guns. And when that's done, I'm coming for you, gazpacho. See your ass at midnight.